What's happening, guys? We're back and we're working on A-arms again. Alright, so last episode we got one lower A-arm, control arm, whatever. This guy, done. I think when we ended the episode last time it was just cooling off in the jig. When I pulled it out of the jig, there was a little bit of spring back to it. It had warped a little bit from welding. So I decided to weld in this crossbar. And then after thinking about it for a couple days, I realized that this is probably a terrible idea, because where this thing mounts to on the chassis, there's going to be a frame rail in between the mounts. So if the spacing on the mounts is not completely perfect, my hind joints are going to be in bending the whole time, and I'm going to end up wearing out hind joints and possibly breaking them. Versus if I take this out, at least there's a little bit of flex in this arm, so any misalignment, at least it'll have a little bit of flex to get rid of it. So the plan for today is cut this out and grind it smooth. It sucks because I did a really good job of welding, but oh well, them's the breaks. So cut this out, and then I got started on the other lower A-arm. I got one of the tubes all fish-mouthed and tacked in, so we need to do the second tube, fish-mouth that and get it tacked in, and then probably we can start looking at the upper A-arms. So let's leave this for later, and let's just jump on to the other A-arm. We're gonna have to let that cool off a bit. I am gonna have to pull it out of the jig to do the final welds, especially like this one here on the end and inside and whatnot. So we'll let that cool off so it doesn't warp too bad. And in the meantime, we'll get to undoing some of the work I did. We'll cut this out and then try to smooth out the weld marks as best as we can. Make it look like it was never there. Alright, that cleaned up pretty nice actually. So one thing we do have to do on this A-arm still is I came in here and smoothed off the weld on the outside of here. If you remember, because this is cut at an angle, it had a bit of an overhang. So when I smoothed that off, I actually ground off most of the weld that's attaching it there. So I want to come in and just kind of weave that joint back together, make sure that it's got good weld on it. And other than that, this A-arm's pretty well ready to go. That A-arm is cooled off enough that we can pull it out of the jig. So I'm gonna pull that guy out, do the finish welding on that, do the finish welding on this, and then we're done the lower control arms. we got that, the lower control arms all finished out. They look not bad. And then I bolted one onto the spindle here to check the alignment. It looks like it's angled down a little bit more than it should be. I'm gonna have to check the travel on that ball joint to see if we can get it raised up a bit. But that's gonna have to happen next episode because I am once again out of time for this one. So we got both the lowers done. Next episode, we'll move on to the uppers and double check our geometry with the ball joint. In the meantime, thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you haven't already, hit the like and subscribe button. Go check us out on Instagram, Leftfootfirst Media, and we'll see you next episode. I'm out of here.